On Lake Cumberland Sports. We are at Buffalo Wings and Rings tonight, a full house of basketball coaches and players, and we're so glad you joined us here at Buffalo Wings and Rings. And our thanks to the good folks here for multiple years in a row they've done this for us, and we look forward to it. And we're going to start off with one of my favorites, Junior Molan, head boss of the Lady Warriors. It's good to see you, man.
Mr. Kerr, good to see you.
I knew you were going to say that, so I was the Mr. Kerr part we're never going to get over. Last time you and I talked on the air, I think we were out of town. We were in Lexington, I think.
That's a good place to be at the end of the season. I've learned that really quick.
And I learned something, the news conference that you did, or the interview after the ring. And when you asked the media, are you all about through underestimating us, or ever? I don't know exactly how you said it.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite lines that I've seen in forever.
And some kids sent it to me. I guess it got reposted on Twitter yesterday after we'd done some mountain interviews with WKYT. But it was just full of energy. It was so fun when we had the big upset over McCracken. They were number 2 at the state and projected to go to the finals of the state tournament. It was such a big win, so obviously I was a little fired up. The adrenaline was moving, and we was so underestimated. A lot of people were talking about us getting beat by 20 and all this, and we took it personal. And they are a really great team. I got to know their coach, and it was just one of them things. I think our experience helped, and we were ready to play, come out strong. And then, of course, we got to go play in the Elite Eight game against Franklin. So kind of repeated the statement, but I was just having fun with it. I was really proud of our group and how they were playing at the time.
They made me promise that you and I would talk about your team this year and your coaches and the things we're looking forward to in this season, because they know me and you, when we get together, we're going to start talking about. But anyway, last year, congratulations. That was a heck of a run. I got some good news and some bad news.
I'll take the good news first, Mike.
Okay, the good news is you return a whole lot of those young ladies this year, and we're going to break that down just a little bit. The bad news is you did lose Taylor Nelson and Michaela Norditz, and I would say that to replace them will happen, but especially Norditz, she is just one of those long, athletic, can rebound, can shoot, can play, can guard, can do all those things. And they're hard to find those. They don't just fall out of the trees.
Oh, absolutely. With Michaela, the one word we left out right there is selfless.
Yes.
I mean, she was team to the end, and then when her time was to shine, she absolutely shined at Rupp Arena for sure last year at the state tournament until her injury. I really believed we could win it all, and her injury really set us back quite a bit, as everybody could see, against a great Bullet East team. But man, it will be hard to replace her. We're working on that right now. I'm playing with some pieces and scrimmages, and even in the summer, played with some stuff. But her and Taylor Nelson, people don't understand the role she played for us last year off the bench. Great kid, understood her role, rebounded, played defense, and these kids that understand their role, it helps us go so much farther. We wouldn't have been a Final Four team without them 2 players last year and how they progressed through our program.
Let's jump to this year. I want to build me a basketball team. I'm starting out, Coach. I don't know anything about this game, but I want to learn. I tell you what I'd like to have. I'd like to have a returning point guard who's a general who lead my team and take me into battle. You have one of those.
I got one of them named Aiden Smitty.
Yes.
And the cool thing right now, I'm so happy with her. She's playing probably the best basketball of her life right now in practice. She's not just settling for being a really good ball player in high school. She has come, worked hard, and ready to go this year. Keep her healthy. I expect big things out of her. We've got 4 of them coming back.
Let's check mark that one.
Go ahead and check mark that point guard.
I'll tell you another thing I want to have. I want to have a knockdown shooter. I want somebody who can keep people honest. I want her to be just deadly and not afraid to shoot it as many times as she has to. And I want her to know the game and be a student of the game and attack people on the other end of the floor. I think you've got one of those.
No, we don't have none of them at all. No, Kinsley Moulton really, my daughter's come a long ways in this program. It's really hard for a coach to coach their own kid, but I learned with the first 2, I believe, how to handle that stuff. Kinsley's worked hard on her own. She does a lot of the stuff where she plays postseason, after the season in AAU, she does on her own. I have nothing to do with it. I sit there and I'm a fan, and she's got a great work ethic. She's known for her shooting, but I love the fact she's improved defensively and rebounding really well. She rebounded strong in her first scrimmage and just playing the right way. Kaylee Young had a big first scrimmage, and a lot of it Kinsley cutting across the lane, putting the ball on the floor, kicking it to her. So, it's great to have the University of the Cumberland's point guard, Signee, running the show, and then a good 2-guard like Kinsley Moulton, and then we're going to go on to the
I'll tell you what I want. I want a big who can not only do the job inside, but can drag my other team's big out on the floor and make them respect the shot and play defense on the other. And you have one of those.
You sound
too.
like you scouted us, Mike.
I did last year.
Yeah, you must scouted us out because Peyton Acey certainly stretches the floor. And a lot of people don't understand that until they have to play us. And she can step out, shoot the three, then put the ball on the floor, create for others, and then obviously she's our inside presence going forward. She's just in the way the game's played today, she's perfect for our team, and especially as many threes as we shoot and how we get out and run. She's just a perfect. I think they complement each other, and we've not even talked about Kaylee Young yet, but they complement each other so well. They need each other. They know it. They understand it, and that's part of the we greater than me culture.
And you mentioned Kaylee. Let's just go ahead. I want a Swiss Army knife on my team. I want one that whatever I need her to do, she can do. If I need her to get 20, she can get 20. If I need her to shut down some of the team's best player, she can do that. If I need her to be the rebounder tonight or whatever, I can say, I need this out of you, and she fills that bill.
She absolutely does it all for us. Her senior year, I'm hoping it's a healthy, fun one for her because she did so much for this program. She was an important part of the piece in 19 when we're state runner-up, and then obviously everybody knows about the 21 and the 22 runs. But Saturday, I'm asking her to do some different things this year, put the ball in the basket, shoot it more, things like that. And in 18 minutes of game time, she had 24 points the other day. And she's listening well. She had a big volleyball run with her sister and just finished that up. So she came in late. First practice, I was like, oh, it's going to take a little bit of time. But she immediately got going. By the second practice, she was rolling. And I'm really looking forward to her having a big senior year.
Now you've got 3 or 4 back who played a lot of minutes for you last year. And I'm going to let you do some work now because I know I'll forget somebody, so I'm going to turn you loose.
Jeslyn Flynn, she started for some last year when we had some injuries and stuff, but she's primarily our 6th man last year. I put her in the starting lineup starting the year here, just playing around with some stuff. She's so good defensively, especially on the ball, really helped us. We're playing around a little bit with how we're wanting to press this year. Doing a good job getting downhill and passing. Hit a big shot to start the scrimmage the other day. Just trying to get her to understand. We're going to play a little bit differently with Kaylee because of her this year when we have her in the lineup, but I'm not going to give none of that away just yet. I know all these coaches around here are watching. But I'm really excited because defensively, I mean, she is – you're going to get to see a true warrior out on the perimeter, guarding people. We can kind of go on down the list.
Sure.
But, I lost 2 other kids that it'll hurt – because I knew what they were going to mean to our program this year. So I want to talk about them just a little bit. Audrey Teeter moved off to North Carolina, and that's her. She's actually in town right now, come and hung out with us practice yesterday. But it's going to hurt. She could have been big at that 4th spot. We lost her. Hope Stouts had to step away from the team, and that's hurt us a little bit this year. And I hate to lose her. We started her some this summer, just trying to test some things out, and I liked how she performed. But we've kind of lost her. So we're looking next with Jordy McDonald coming off the bench right there, 7. And I don't think I need to tell you there's any fear in that young lady. She walked right into a Rupp Arena game against a 6'5" Merkel kid from Bullitt East.
Yes.
And I've got a picture of her just doing her best to box that lady out. And it was just Jordy has no fear. My big thing is I've never had a healthy Jordy McDonald. And she's a freshman this year. She's healthy, and we're just trying to keep her. If she stays healthy, I really like her as a strong, important piece at our varsity levels. So, does a good job rebounding. She's starting to shoot the ball much better. She can go to the point for you if you really need her to, and run things. What I love about her, she's like Kaylee Young. She's interchangeable. She can just in the mid offense, we can change things. She can go to the 3 or the 4 anytime we need her. So, I think she'll have a big season for us as well, Mike. Riley Myers come in this summer. She's a junior for us. Come in, gave us big minutes off the bench for Peyton coming in. And I'm interested to see how she will help us. She had a good summer. I'm interested to see what she'll bring to the table as we get going for real here coming up.
You know a lot about, and we've got some names that we're going to hear as the season progresses. We're going to follow you guys. But the key to this, it doesn't come by accident. I jokingly ask you, since we were in Lexington in early March, how many high school basketball scrimmages, AAU, all the other stuff that goes on in between seasons, how many have you seen since then? And I said 100, and you laughed.
Yeah, I've traveled with my daughter all summer, just sitting in the stands, being that quiet dad, trying to stay away from everybody.
It's a tough role too, isn't it?
Yeah, it was for me. People don't understand being the coach and having your daughter play. It's different for me because I make her work for everything, but I don't get to enjoy it.
Right.
I just don't. I took for granted the fact that I got to enjoy my oldest daughter, Destiny, and my son, Jalen, play at Southwestern. and I could do this and do that with them. But with Kinsley, it's just I got to enjoy the summer. She played for a really good basketball program this summer, and her coach was really good, and it was just a really good experience. And I traveled all over the place. I'm not big into that in the summer, but enjoyed it with my wife and her, and I never talked about basketball. I got in the car. I did everything different than I did with the first two, and just enjoyed the fact that she loves the game and she wants to get better on her own. And she don't need Dad to tell her she's good or bad or anything. She knows where she's at.
You're going to turn gray-headed one of these days like some of us.
Going to turn?
And I can tell you that is a lesson that is so hard to learn. They know by the time they reach the level these young ladies have played at, they pretty well know their game. They know what's expected of them. You don't have to tell them when they played great and when they didn't play well at all. They know that.
No, that's true. And, I try to what I preach at the high school level. I ask her, let's go, where are we going to go after a game? Let's go get some ice cream.
Let's go eat.
Where are we going? Where are we going to get all this good stuff, have a good time, and go do things? So I really enjoyed it from that standpoint. But
before we get lost, I know you want to thank your coaching staff because for all the time that we spend together, that you spend with the kids, these coaches are spending that much or more doing what they have to do to support the program. And it kind of goes unnoticed by a lot of people.
It does, and and I felt bad last year because I didn't talk about one of them enough. So I'm gonna start with her, Kayla Hall. She's come on, helped me with the middle school program. She's been coaching our 7th grade group this year. I was back down there coaching this year, so I really enjoyed being around her. She's put a lot of time in. She's gonna primarily help us as assistant coach freshman tonight, and her and Kevin Dalton are actually stepping up and coaching freshmen right now for us. We're getting ready to play in a scrimmage, but she's done a great job, and she played for this program in the 2019 state runner-up team, and just great shooter, great individual, and we're so lucky to have her. She come on last year, like I said, with the team. I brought Kevin Dalton on this year, our softball guru. He's the go-to softball around here. When people start talking about Kevin, he is just so intense and about the program. He's helped me for the last 5 years in the middle school program, and I got to say, our middle school program wouldn't be where it was at right now without him. He's just been a big-time part of it. Coached, assisted, did whatever we need. I could call Kevin right now. He'd drive to Paducah to get me a game film. He's just that great of a guy. He's all about anything that we can do to improve our program. And I'm like tonight, he's over there getting everything ready for us while I'm doing this interview. So I just can't appreciate Kevin Dalton enough. Michelle Markham, she is the best stats person in the business. I got people in middle school jealous. We had her doing she traveled with me in middle school this year, and at the state tournament, she probably helped us steal a game against one of the top teams at the 8th grade level. We ended up going to the state championship game because she had her stuff together, and a team from Louisville didn't have their stuff together. So let's put it this way. That's how important she was. I had other coaches just drooling over the fact I've got somebody like her with me, and she does everything behind the scenes for us, uniforms, takes care of all the little problems, and she's already texted me today about something I forgot. So she takes care of me really well. Make sure I stay straight. So
let's let you have just a second to catch your breath. I know your wife didn't bring the water she was supposed to bring, so I will throw her under the bus for the first time tonight. Let's shift gears for a second. Last year at the state, somebody wrote the fact in one of the publications I saw somewhere or mentioned it or whatever that you had played 9, or counting yourself 9 of the teams in the state tournament. When they got there, you had already played them during the regular season or tournament. This year, I thought, okay, Coach will lean back and rest on his laurels a little bit, and he'll lighten that schedule up a little bit. Let me ask you if this is anywhere near correct. Yeah. You've got Sacred Heart Academy. They won a state championship last year. You've got Bullitt East. They were county, if I'm not mistaken. Bowling Green, if I'm not – no.
Yes, sir. We're playing at Bowling Green.
And one of the – I didn't know if you had them or you had somebody else. But anyway –
Pikeville, by the way.
Pikeville. I forgot about that.
Let me add this. Pikeville had a big win over Sacred Heart the other day in a scrimmage. I know it's just a scrimmage, but we played Pikeville and Anderson County on the same day, February 4th of this upcoming season. So we're going to test ourselves really well.
And then just to make sure you got everybody, you went and got North Laurel again because they might win the 13th this year. They were runner-up last year. As a high school schedule, and I mean this, I have rarely ever, and that's not mentioning any 12th region team or any local team. That's just the ones that you get to pick.
Yes.
What a schedule, Coach.
Yeah, listen, Coach Butcher taught me early on, you're better to lose early and learn about your team, and so you can win later. And that's something I'm not worried about my record, my personal record as a coach. This is the only place I ever want to coach, and when I'm done, I'm just going to cheer this program on. And so for me, it's not about a stepping stone or anything like that. It's about let's challenge them as much as we can early on, figure out who we are, and then go from there. You know, we're in 2 big-time tournaments this year also with Lexington Catholic again, where we lost in the championship game to George Roger Clark last year. They'll be back, and that's a top program, another program that you always see at state tournament. And then we're going to the LIT. We finally got that invite, and I mean, you've got Sacred Heart, you've got Mercy, you've got all these teams from. It's the big one.
It's the big one.
Our program has never been invited to it, so I couldn't pass it up. I'm very fortunate. My administration, Mark Flynn and Alex Eaton, they signed off for us to go on us during a school week, you know, every night to Louisville. So it'll be a challenge, but I'm looking forward to seeing where our kids are. We learned a lot about ourselves last year because of that schedule, and I thought it paid off late.
I think you and I would agree. I don't think you're a Final Four team in the state tournament last year if you take those 9 teams off that schedule and you replace them, and no offense to anybody, fill in the blank, if you replace them with schools that just aren't that good, I don't think your team is ready for the adversity that hit you all in Lexington, and you still managed to fight through that.
Yeah, there's no way, Mike. Not with what we dealt with. And most of them games were on the road last year, which we were like, oh, when we got to a neutral court, okay, it's on. You know, we felt really good about ourselves. And then you throw the Mercer counties in there, them games that you play. You know, they beat us during the regular season. And you play some of them teams neutral-wise. I thought our schedule and our culture was the biggest keys last year to our run. And we peaked at the right time. You got to peak right. You know, I mean, everybody said, well, UK beat Kansas and North Carolina last year, and they're in the national championship. But you know, they peaked early. Obviously, the Cats did last year and disappeared, you know, when it counted. So you got to peak at the right time. You got to keep everything together. And it's sometimes a little hard in girls basketball, but I thought our kids were ready to go when the time came, and we finally got healthy. So
I had a pleasure of watching a whole lot of your games last year, both some on the road, but mostly the home games, and then the run in the tournaments. And I can honestly say that I never saw this basketball team last year, and I'll bet I don't see it this year. I never saw them look like they were out of a basketball game. Whatever the score was, I never saw that look.
I never felt it either. There's times we got beat, but it was one of them things. I'll tell everybody, and I know we only got a few minutes left, so I'm going to make sure to get everybody in on
Yes, go ahead.
But I didn't know we were a regional contender until we lost a game to GRC at the Lexington Catholic. That's when I knew, all right, it takes a while with this team. And I knew then, because I felt like we lost that game in overtime. I thought, okay, we can. I told our girls in the locker room, we're going to compete for this region now. And you learn a lot about your team. One thing we left out early, Mike, and I know you're going to shut me down here in a second. I got to brag about my coach, Casey Dalton, my assistant. He's my lead assistant. Been with me through thick and he's my guy. Through thick and thin, we do this together. We scout. I'm just so fortunate to have him. You surround yourself with great people, and
he's a pretty positive guy
too. He's just great. So I can't say enough about him. I wish I had more time. I left out a couple of players I'd like to talk about.
Go ahead, please. We're going to.
Ava Jones has stepped up. Sophomore coming up. She has stepped up. Had a big summer. Worked her butt off to be a piece of the puzzle. Shooting the ball, outstanding. Body language is perfect where I want her at. She has come on, she had a good first scrimmage. I'm looking forward to seeing her being a piece in our puzzle. Kiara Scott, 8th grader coming up. Going to be good. Can guard already. Hit a big 3 the other day in our scrimmage. Got Molly Osborne coming up, another 8th grader. Now, my 8th grade team was state runner-up for the 2nd year in a row. Kids can play, put them on another schedule like our high school schedule. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that 8th grade group start helping us a little bit. We've had a few injuries with it with Kylie Dalton and Trinity Corral, but 3 more. Got Kenzie Williams, a shooter, 8th grader, going to help us a lot. Samaj Artist, Andrea West has stepped up, played well. Claire Marie Ramsey, looking forward to see what they can do. But I'm hoping I've not left anybody out. I hate when I do. I got Kristen Desarn and Abigail Strunk coming up. They've showed that it's not just a social thing. They want to compete for varsity time, so I'm looking forward to seeing where we got one more kid coming up. Brought a 7th grader on, Kat Branscombe, this year, and looking forward to seeing her grow, build, and she's a really good kid. I just can't wait to see how she grows in this deal.
Take a deep breath, take a look at your list, make sure we haven't missed anybody. I'm going to go ahead and remind everybody, this is the Coach's Show from Buffalo Wings and Rings. Got Coach Junior Mullen. For them to tell me and you we only have 20 minutes to talk about basketball.
Come on, guys. We're going back-to-back regions. Give me some more time.
Come on, man. He deserves it. Anyway, Coach.
Hey, Christine Cook just brought her on. She tried out, brought her on. She's on our team. She's going to be a sophomore this year coming on, or a freshman coming on.
We look forward to spending some time in a gym with you this year. And, again, best of luck to your ladies. Thank you as always. And I know you have a scrimmage to get to right now, so throw that headset away, and best of luck, Coach.
I want to thank you all for everything you do. Appreciate Lake Cumberland Sports. You're all great for our community. Just love it. Get to look back at these things one day and all these memories. Thank you all.
Good luck, Coach.
Thank you, Mike.
He's Junior Mullen. We're going to step out for a minute. When we come back, Michael is going to have Jerron Dunbar, the boys basketball coach from Southwestern. They're going to step in. We're going to step out. It's the Coaches Show from Buffalo Wings and Rings. Back after this.
Since 1988, Toyota of Somerset has been serving and supporting our local communities. We want you to know that we are here for you and your family. Someone you can trust. Someone you can count on. Now and for the better days to come. Trusted, loyal, dedicated, helpful, and consistent. Toyota of Somerset. Come see us or visit us online at toyotaofsomerset.com.
We, the people of this great land, are resilient and will get through this. And buying and selling is the real stimulus. Land and real estate are the premium investments, and they're not just making any more land. At Ford Brothers Auctioneers, we'll get you the most for your property with live, online, and multi-parcel auctions. Selling farms, homes, developments, and commercial properties for top dollar. Give us a call or online at FordBrothersInc.com.
This is Michael Gregg with Lake Cumberland Sports, and now with Coach Jerron Dunbar of the Southwestern Warriors. Coach, good evening.
Nice to be here, man.
Welcome to our Coaches Show as we get ready to kick off the 2022-23 basketball season. So let's take a moment to reflect back to last season before we start talking about this year. In your first season at the helm, your Warriors struggled last season. Many games were close. I was at a lot of those contests. Overall record, 5-24, had some growing pains. Talk to me about basketball lessons and life lessons that you and your team learned last season as you went through that season.
Well, we talked about it all last year, trying to get to the next level. And it seemed like we could play 3 quarters with anybody we played with. There's always that one quarter that hurt us. And it didn't matter if it's the first, second, third, or fourth. One quarter always hurt us. So that was our thing in the offseason. We got to figure out how to play 4 quarters. And so our motto, our theme for this year is all 4 Southwestern, and the number 4 right in the middle for 4 quarters. And I think the kids are starting to buy into that. They understand, what it's going to take to win. We try to preach it every day. Summer was really good for us. As soon as the season's over with, we took about 3 weeks off, got back in the gym. We've been going at it ever since. But the summer was really good to us. I saw a lot of improvement in the summer. And then we had our first scrimmage last night, and I really like what I saw out of my kids. We had a lot of fight. We got down early, about 16, and then we came back and won by 3. So they needed that. They needed to see, how to get back in the game, how to fight, and get the win.
And this was a team that I know you have several players yet not suiting up because football season, fortunately for Southwestern, is still going on.
Yeah, we're very excited about the football team. I mean, they're creating history right now.
Absolutely.
And we always say, and this is nothing new for me with football going deep. So we always say, we're not going to win a big championship in December. We're rooting those guys on, and once they're finished, they'll come in the gym and we'll kind of restart and we'll plug them right in. But we want them to go all the way.
Fantastic. Coach, last season you graduated Andrew Jones from last season's squad. In his absence, you lose the second leading scorer on your team and the leading rebounder by a pretty wide margin from last year's team. And Jones was a clutch player. That leaves big shoes to fill this season. Who do you look to step up in that leadership role?
Well, it's going to be by committee, to be honest with you. I'm not looking for one guy to get out there and get 10, 11 rebounds, which I think I got a couple that's capable of it. But we got to rebound by committee, and Andrew was great last year for us, and he's having a great start to the season at Berea College right now, averaging double digits. But, we got Blake Bolin, who we didn't have last year, and he's with us. He's in football right now. He's 6'7". He changes the game defensively.
Can't teach 6'7".
He changes the game defensively. We got a big team this year. We look like a varsity basketball team this year. Last year we kind of looked like a JV team, to be honest with you. But we got him at 6'7". We got a 6'5" freshman, Jarrett Simpson, who played a lot for us last night. I think he's going to have a good future. Zach Hutchinson, 6'4".
Good-looking ball player.
And then Maddox Mink is with us this year. And Maddox he might be the best rebounder we have. He's so strong. He jumps well. He did a great job, and then we're trying to get our guards in there to rebound as well.
So team goals this season, I'm going to go through all your roster players. I know that I'd mentioned to you when I texted you earlier, everybody wants to hear about their babies,
Yeah,
and we're going to talk about them. But team goals this season, what's on your board that you want to put a check mark by this season?
We want to make sure we show improvement, number one. And like I said, it might be a slow start once we get football in because we're going to have to reteach everything. But I want to see competitiveness and make sure that we are in the mix there toward the end of the year. We want to be playing our best ball by the end of the season. Starting off with football coming back, if they go all the way to Kroger, their second game is going to be a district game against Wayne County. So that's going to be tough right off the bat. But
yes, sir.
Our goals, we want to qualify for the regional tournament. We want to get back there. We want to win the district, and then we want to make a run at it. My goal, number one, is to win the region. But I think you got to start a little bit smaller right now because we're trying to build this thing up.
Yes, sir.
And I think, qualifying for the region is the number one thing. Because you get there in the 12th, anything can happen.
Anything can happen. We've seen anything
Southwestern
happen
has proved that before.
In this 12th region. Yes, sir. So let's talk about your roster, Coach. I've got you with 7 seniors on the roster. That's actually, unless you have more that I've missed.
8.
You got 8?
Got 8, yeah.
So Eli Meese is the lead your squad coming back, 14.3 points per game. What are you looking at Eli this year? Streaky shooter, can score in bunches. Looking for a lot from him this season.
Yeah, we got to have more leadership from him. We talked about it with him all last year and even in the offseason. He's an elite shooter.
Absolutely.
He truly is. But he shot 32% last year. He needs to shoot 40% because he can do it, or close. But his shot selection, he's got to have a good shot selection. Got to know, like last night we had to talk about, in film session day we talked, there's a couple times he shot the ball when – in a normal setting, if you don't look at the time and everything, it's not necessarily a bad shot, but he's got to know timing and the time of the game. So
the moment.
So he shot a couple early that he probably shouldn't have shot, and that's going to come, So if he will stick to the plan and understand that the ball will come back to him if we keep moving it, and then, the first shot might not be the best one, he can be an elite shooter.
Rounding out some of those other seniors, Campbell Coffey, I thought he was kind of a floor general for you at times last season.
He was fantastic last night. We put him at
Right.
the point right now.
Yeah.
He's gotten stronger. He's playing with an edge. He's more physical. He's working his shot. He stepped out and knocked a 3 down last night. He had 15 for us last night.
Right.
If we can get 8 to 10 from him a game, and Campbell's very smart. He's level-headed. He understands when the defense collapses, when to kick it out. He's a great leader by example. So I think he's going to have a good year for us, and he's a good leader.
We mentioned the rebounding that Jones had last season. The next senior, Hagan Galloway, big body, I think, can maybe pick up some slack there.
Another kid had an excellent night last night. He's kind of hard to figure out what position to put him at because he's a little bit too small to play a post. He's strong enough, but as far as, you put somebody 6'3", 6'4" on him, he struggles to score over the top. But you pull him out the free throw line where he can make a move and go by it. He's very quick there.
He is quick. Yep.
So, we got to figure out, and we did a good job of it last night of getting the ball in the high post, him going around people. So I think he's going to be a kid that I think is going to have a good year. We got to get him to, I think he only averaged 3 or 4 rebounds a game last year. And with his strength, he can get more, and that's what we've been pushing.
And the
for.
long wingspan. Seems like he's almost 7 foot tall with his arms. Yeah. Round out my seniors, again, I'm missing one. The rest of those gridiron look like. J.J. Hutchinson was somebody that played some point for you last season.
Yep. J.J. had a good summer for us. He was kind of hurt off and on a little bit, but J.J. showed up like a man in the district tournament. He's deceptive. You don't think he's a great shooter, but he can step out there and he can knock some threes down.
Yeah.
Hit 2 big threes in the region or in the district tournament last year. He started facilitating more, getting after it. The problem a lot of time was we weren't very deep last year. And playing a point guard, I mean, it's tough. You're up and down, you're guarding another quick player, you're facilitating, and this year we're going to be deeper so we can give him a few more breaks, and that's going to help him just as much because when he gets tired, and that goes for everybody, they start to slow down a little bit.
You talked about defensively, and I don't know because this young man, I haven't seen him suit up on the hardwood yet. Mason Hibbard, an athlete extraordinaire on the football field. So excited to see him come out for basketball this season. I assume he's going to be a lockdown defender for you day one.
Yeah, I'd hoped he would be out last year. He got hurt, broke that collarbone last year.
Right.
So he played with us this summer. he is a lockdown defender.
I
He's strong.
I assumed that.
He's smart. He's level-headed. You know, he can get out there and run some point as well. He's a facilitator too, and I think by the middle, toward the end of the year, he's going to be able to score something for us. But he's a great athlete, probably the best athlete in the school.
Can't teach that.
No, and he's going to be a kid. He's going to come in. He's going to pick up right off the bat. Even though he's not played organized since 8th grade or freshman, I'm not real sure. It's been a while.
Yep.
He'll be just fine, and he's going to bring a big lift to us.
You mentioned Blake Boland at 6'7". He was out there. I know he played some JV for you last year, wasn't eligible. Looking for him to play in the post and rebound also this year.
Blake's very smart. He's a good passer out of the post, so if our guards and wings will understand, we're going to play through him, play through our post this year because they'll get you the basketball. Defense going to have to collapse on them. They'll find you, and you can knock your shots down there. But we want Blake to be more assertive from the post, make better post moves, quicker post moves, but defensively, he helps us so much more in rebounding.
And you mentioned Maddox Mink already. That young man can play lights out on the football field, and again, strong, kind of.
He's tough,
like a Hagan Galloway kind of body. Looking for him to fill some void down there in the paint too.
He's tough too. You know, he came out this summer, and once again, he's not played since 8th grade or freshman year. So, but he's an athlete. He understands, and what I like is these football guys they understand how to win. Obviously, they're proving it by being 13-0 right now.
Yeah.
So Maddox is going to bring a lot of strength to us, a lot of physicality. He might have a few fouls, and that's all right.
You got 5.
We got 5, and we're pretty deep there.
Yeah.
And my other senior, I don't know if you've got him on there, is Isaac Warren.
Okay.
Isaac's came to us. This is probably the first time he's played in his high school career organized. Isaac's got good vision on the court. He's been good for us in practice and everything. He just got to get the offense down and learn more how to play organized because he's been away from the game for a little bit.
Coach, your junior class, I've got 4 that was on the roster that I saw. Connor Hudson, I think the leading junior returning, averaged almost 8 points a game, couple rebounds a game. I really like his game. He's very athletic, can create his own shot, can take it to the basket. What do you expect to see his game develop this season?
He came on. One thing I like about Connor is he earned everything he got last year. You know, we started him on JV and worked his way up. By the end of the year, he's starting varsity. He's very good at creating his own shot, like you said. He's probably the best we have at creating his own shot. He can get to the rim. He's strong. He's wiry. He can jump. We want him to rebound better from the wing, and we want him to guard better. Sometimes he loses his man, but he's athletic. He's quick. I think he's going to be a kid. You know, he can shoot the ball. He scored all 3 levels.
Yeah.
So he's a kid that we're going to look for to do some scoring for us this year.
Something I thought I saw out of Connor, and I'm not the coach, but killer instinct.
Yeah, he does. He does. He's not scared of anything.
No.
You know, he's very confident, sometimes a little overconfident.
Yep.
But you got to have that. You got to have that type of swag.
Hunter Ham, another junior, I saw him in limited time, but what I did see looked like that kid could shoot the ball.
He's one of these kids where he might not pop up with 10, 12, 15 points. He might have 3 or 4 like he did last night, but he changes the game because he's constantly moving. He's flashing. He's smart. He knows where to be. We're working on his strength in the weight room and everything. But he's a kid he's a winner. I mean, every scrimmage we've had, like we go at 6 a.m. on Friday mornings up until football's over, since last year, he's never lost a scrimmage. His team hasn't. He's just a winner. He knows how to win, and he's always moving. He's always active.
Colin Hibbert, another young man that played for you last season, football player, going to be back. Another junior on your roster.
He's a defender. Colin is a defender, and he's last year we threw him in some varsity games. He probably wasn't ready, but we had to. He's a good one in practice. He gets after it. He likes to talk and get everybody fired up. He's a great kid overall, and I think, you know, he wants to be good at basketball. His skills getting better. He works at it. You don't ever have to worry about what you're going to get with Colin. You know exactly what it's going to be. It's going to be all-out effort for however long he's in.
You can count on that from the Hibbert boys.
Yes, absolutely.
Cameron Shipp rounds out the junior class. Saw him in some limited action last season also. Seems to give 110% every time
he did. He's a kid. You're never going to hear anything from him. It's yes, sir, no, sir. We tell him go try to run through that wall. He's going to do his best, too. You know, he's just that type of kid. He's a point guard, facilitator. We need to get him ready for next year to really take over the reins. But, you know, you could see him in some games this year. You know, he's just a smart kid. He understands how to play the position.
Sophomore class, I had Ian Paris on the roster. Don't know that young man. What can you tell us about him?
Ian's a good shooter. He's a good shooter. He's grown. He's shot up to about 6'2" right now. He's a kid we're trying to develop. I think he can have a good junior and senior year for us.
Freshman class, you mentioned a couple of these names already. I'll revisit. Zachary Hutchinson, big, tall frame, with needing rebounds and post scoring. These young men can do that too.
Yeah, we brought Zach up last year to varsity toward the end of the year, put him in some games. He did great. This summer he changed some games completely in the varsity setting. I think, honestly, he might be one of our more consistent scorers by the end of the year. He can score all 3 levels. He's better in the post. He's got really good touch from 15 feet, but he can change some stuff defensively because he's a great anticipator. And to be a 6'4" freshman with a good body on you, I mean,
get him out there.
He's got a heck of a chance to have a great career here.
Yeah, and you mentioned Jarrett Simpson had played for you in your scrimmage yesterday, 6'5". Can't teach that. High expectations for that young man.
Jarrett's got good footwork. The only thing that was issue last night was physicality, and I knew it would be because Jarrett's not been in the weight room much since he just started in the weight room a few months ago when we did. He's going to be a very good player. He's a good passer. He sees the floor well, and he's another one to step out and shoot the ball.
I have also Adam Markham, a freshman on your roster. Don't know anything about that young man. Tell us about him.
Adam's got a good future. He's grown too. He's really loving the weight room right now. He's gotten stronger. He's shooting the ball well. That was something. They take coaching. This freshman group is really good at taking coaching. We pulled him in and talked to him at the summer. We said, at your grade level, we don't have a knockdown shooter. We need one. Well, he started getting in the gym. We worked on his shot, and he's knocking them down.
Taking a challenge.
Yeah.
That's right. So the 48th district this year, Coach, is now 4 teams. I myself, long awaited. I'm glad to see that. Somerset Christian School, you welcome them into the fold. I know you said one of the goals is to compete for that district title. How you like your chances this year?
You know, I think we can be there. I think we're going to be right there in the mix, but there's some good teams. Wayne County's going to be good this year. You know, Somerset Christian, they competed last year, and they're going to be fine. Coach Cover's going to do a great job there, and Coach Sears, I have a lot of respect for them. You know what you're going to get out of Wayne County. They're going to be very fundamental. And they've got a young group, but they're going to be good this year.
Coach, I got to say, I mentioned this to you earlier. I think we text back and forth. You got a home-and-home series with Somerset. I'm not sure who was responsible for that, but thank you.
Well, the administrations, that's what they wanted to get done. We knew all along it needs to happen.
Absolutely.
So it's going to be good it's good for the community. It's good for the kids.
Absolutely.
It's going to be a fun game, and I'm glad we're getting to play it. Anytime you go 10 minutes down the road and get a home game
that's
or
exactly
away
right.
game, that's great.
Price of diesel, that's good, it's just good economics. Looking at the schedule, though, you play Pulaski at home on the 13th of January and then Somerset at home the very next night. So that's going to be an interesting couple days.
That might be stupid scheduling. It might not be. I don't know.
Exciting.
Here's the thing. It's going to be rivalry weekend, I guess you can say. Both of them is at home for us. You know, I think your kids, you got to know they got to show up and perform.
That's exactly right.
No matter what.
Coach, we're running short on time. I want you to have a moment. Assistant coaches, you want to talk about those guys that help you work that program day in, day out?
I wouldn't take anything from my assistant coaches. Coach Tolliver, this is his second year with us. He's got a wealth of knowledge. He coached at the college level, coached at the high school level too. He does great with our JV guys. Coach Cody Ross, he's been with me probably the last 5 or 6 years, I guess. He's doing our freshmen. Once again, does a great job with them. And then we've added Coach Mark Cundiff. He's back with us. You know what you get out of him. He's an awesome guy. Kids love him. He's a hype man. We got Coach Billy Carson helping out a little bit behind the scenes. Wealth of knowledge, too. Jonathan Edwards. He played here at Southwestern.
Yes,
I like getting those guys back. And
that.
Jonathan's over here now, and he's helping us out. He understands what it takes to be a Warrior. He wants to see this program back where it needs to be. So he's doing a great job with us right now as well.
Coach, your home opener on December 5th. Looks like the regular season opens on Monday for you as you travel to Berea.
Yep.
But your home opener on December 5th against Boyle County, going to hit frying pan really early there in the 12th region contest.
Absolutely. And, you know, both teams are probably going to be in the same situation with football, you know. So
yeah,
I
hadn't thought about that.
It could be everybody's first game back. Who knows? So, you know, Boyle County, they're a great team in the 12th region, always competitive. It's going to be a good one for us.
Be a good way to calibrate that program early, though, in the season.
Yeah,
it's
you know you got to play.
Yeah. So, kind of closing up here, Coach, tell us, last season we know a few of these players that were in the – who are we going to get to know a whole lot more this season, 2 months from now, that's really put a mark on this program?
I think it's going to be a collective effort.
Committee.
I really do. You know, we was talking today. I mean, I can't say we've got a best player. I think we got a bunch of guys that are are all in the mix there, and we can go to them at any time. You know, if you're hot, we're going to you right now. I kind of like that. You know,
it's hard for a defense to prepare for that.
It doesn't put all pressure on one guy. I've got to go get a bucket right now.
Right.
You know, and what I loved last night, I saw no selfishness. We shot some bad shots for some, but I didn't see any selfishness. We moved the ball. We were happy for our teammates. So it's baby steps. I feel like we're going in the right direction. Obviously, I want to get there quicker than
absolutely.
Than
I understand that.
I would think, but I think we're going in the right direction, and we're going to keep it rolling.
Well, Coach, I appreciate you taking time out of your day, catching up with us, and allowing us to tag along. Warrior Nation, if you're listening to us, come out to the reservation on Friday as Southwestern hopes to punch a ticket to Kroger Field.
Absolutely.
A lot of Coach Dunbar's players going to be out there on the gridiron. Coach, good luck this season. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. This has been Coach Dunbar on the Coaches Show here on Lake Cumberland Sports.
Since 1988, Toyota of Somerset has been serving and supporting our local communities. We want you to know that we are here for you and your family. Someone you can trust, someone you can count on, now and for the better days to come. Trusted, loyal, dedicated, helpful, and consistent. Toyota of Somerset. Come see us or visit us online at toyotaofsomerset.com.
We, the people of this great land, are resilient and will get through this. And buying and selling is the real stimulus. Land and real estate are the premium investments, and they're not just making any more land. At Ford Brothers Auctioneers, we'll get you the most for your property with live, online, and multi-parcel auctions. Selling farms, homes, developments, and commercial properties for top dollar. Give us a call or online at FordBrothersInc.com.
And welcome back, everyone, to the Lake Cumberland Sports Preseason Basketball Coaches Show here from Wings and Rings. Getting ready to get set to talk to Coach Laughlin from Somerset High School. But before we do, want to give just a real quick shout, not a shout, but take a minute to remember a couple of special people to the Briar Jumper Nation that were lost this week. I had the honor and privilege to call both these men my friend. Kyle David Albright, affectionately known as Big Dave, passed away last Monday, and Coach Robbie Lucas, after a battle with cancer, passed away last Sunday. Coach Lucas, of course, head coach of the Somerset football team for the last 14 years. And Big Dave, avid fan, supporter, drove me and many student athletes and players all around the state of Kentucky and the country to games back and forth. And both of them will be greatly missed, Robbie Lucas and Big Dave Albright. Now, got that out of the way. It's been a tough week for Somerset fans and faithful. And hearts go out to them. But I'm joined now, normally would be sitting here across from Coach Cassandra McCourtin, but our thoughts go up, prayers go out to her. Her family's all dealing with some sickness right now.
Yeah, they're all a little under the weather.
Yep. So I have the privilege to speak to Coach Andrew Laughlin, who is, from what I understand, a diehard Reds fan.
Oh, yeah.
Bengals.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh,
and UK.
Yeah, all of them. You nailed it. You know me. That's
okay.
And Lady Jumpers. Yeah, and Lady Jumpers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just give us a little quick background here. Before you came coached with Coach McWhorter last year, you were at Williamstown?
Yeah, Williamstown Independent Schools in Grant County. I was there for the first 7 years of my teaching career and coached there for 6 years. Girls basketball, boys basketball, and softball.
Okay. So coming from Grant County, Williamstown area, Somerset obviously not in the same region doing anything.
Yeah.
How much did you know about Somerset basketball?
You know, I really didn't know a lot coming in, but you learn a lot quickly. I mean, it's a great community. Everybody's always pumped to go to all the games, whether it's a basketball game, a football game, a baseball game. So I wasn't super familiar with the 12th region in general, but over the last year just watching it, I'm like, man, there's some incredible athletes and incredible coaching that takes place in the 12th.
Yeah, and it should be a very exciting year this year. all the teams bring a lot of players back.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get into that in just a minute with your all's roster of how many returning players that you've got come back is crazy to me. But real quick, just want to touch on last year's season. You guys came in first season, finished 19-11, 12-5 in the region, 6-2 district champs, and advanced to the second round of the region where you lost 43-23 with a very young team. So, I mean, that speaks volumes with what you guys were able to do, come in and get to that point in the first year.
Yeah, one of the things Coach Mack always preaches is it's a marathon, not a sprint. And that's how we treated the season. You know, you start off, you have everybody, you know, you lose a few people to injury, you start to implement plays and get to know everybody throughout the season. And by the end of the season, we were cooking. I mean, we had 7th graders and 8th graders stepping up in huge roles. We had people who hadn't played huge minutes before stepping in. I know Kenzie Fisher was somebody who stepped into the paint for us who hadn't played huge varsity minutes in the past, and she really carried us in a lot of those games. So it was just really nice to get us all flowing at the right time of the year.
And like I said, team averaged 52.6 points a game last year, 21.9 from three-point range, 34.7 from field goal range, and 53.8% from the free throw line.
Yeah.
So I know that's something that you guys want to work on. I couldn't shoot a lick when I played, okay? So, and a lot of coaches you'll hear talk about, you know, conditioning and stamina and your legs and this and that. I couldn't use that as an excuse because I was normally in condition. I just couldn't shoot a lick. For your better shooters, is that something that you guys work on as far as getting conditioned and getting them to the line and getting better at the free throw line this year?
Most of our shooting drills we do in practice, we try and do it after like an up-down drill or something like that, so you're shooting with kind of those dead legs or when we go into free throws. I know our percentages are going to increase this year. We have too many gym rats, right? We have too many kids that are getting in the gym every other day, every day, for hours a day, after practice, before practice, staying after. So I know our shooting percentages are going to go up, and I think last year implemented a new system. Sometimes you're a little shaky with what's a good shot. Did I just mean to take that shot? And now I think as we get more comfortable, you're going to see a lot of these girls putting up some pretty big numbers.
So now let's talk about this bunch. You've got 12 returning players.
Yeah.
That I don't know that I've ever seen, been a part of, or heard of the team returning 12 players that all put in some valuable minutes.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And also, you know, you had Grace Bruner, who had got injured last year, who was your leading scorer on the team before that happened, is back from injury this year too. So you've got 12 players coming back, Coach, that, you know, you've had your first year to implement your system, go through everything. How different is the second year compared to the first year trying to get everything going?
I think we are still preaching the marathon, not a sprint, to make sure, you know, each day we're trying to go through little things to build up to those big things. But it is great to have 12 people back. I mean, we're super excited about it. Not only do we have 12 people back, but we got some returners coming back that have played in the past that just took a year off, those kind of things. So we're very excited to have that crew back in. For us, every day in practice, it allows us to go a little bit deeper, a little bit more, add a little bit more in. And I think that's going to show up for us as we get later into the season.
Sure. So let's talk about this roster coming back. I don't know if you have a list. If you want me to, if you want to go through and talk about each of these players that are coming back here, I'll give you a little time. You got it pulled up.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead.
I mean, for us, one of the players who's coming back who's actually not going to be able to give us a lot of time. Hopefully, we can get her back by the end of the season. Is actually number 10, Taya Mills. She hurt her shoulder during soccer season this year, and she's out right now.
Yeah, pretty bad injury.
Yeah. It's we're hoping, you know, that she'll be able to do some physical therapy and work her way back in. But, you know, our hearts go out to her. But she's just absolutely great. I mean, she's still coming to the practices, right? She's still there on the sidelines. You know, she's still there for her team, and we love that. Number 11, Grace Bruner, coming back. I mean, it's nice to have her back into the court, right? You know, out there playing. Last year was kind of like having an extra coach on the an extra assistant coach on the bench. You know, she could see things and she can talk to the players sometimes differently than coaches can. So that was really nice to have. Kate Bruner, I mean, just an absolute monster, right? Nobody wants that matchup, right? Like when Kate's guarding you, you're like, oh man, this is going to be a long night. So she's just absolutely great to have back. And then we have a few more role players coming back: Bailey Bender, Kaylee Bartley, and Mackenzie Fisher. People who are just going to, you know, just make our lineup solid, right? Just continue to improve. And we're really happy to have those girls back.
Sure.
And then I know we have like Kendall Fisher, who's one of our sophomores, coming back. I'm telling you, she has an opportunity to be one of our most improved players. The way she comes into practice and focuses every day, she's somebody who knows the plays, can help other people learn the plays. So we're real excited to have her back. And then I think you look at your younger group: Haley Combs, Sophie Barnes, and Jalen Dye. Those three right there. It's just absolutely fantastic to have three players who got a lot of experience as 7th and 8th graders coming back in the 8th grade and freshman realm. I mean, Jay led us in scoring after Grace went down as a 7th grader.
Right.
And, I mean, we're just excited to see her growth and where she's going. On top of that, you have Haley Combs, who's a true leader at point guard. I mean, somebody who can handle the rock, call up the offense, and, I mean, just she's going to be fun to watch over the next 4 years, real fun to watch. And then Sophie Barnes. I mean, I don't know if there's a harder worker out here. I don't think she's lost a sprint in one of our practices over the last 2 years since I've been here, so it's just great to have her back. I think I hit everybody, hopefully.
Yeah, I think now you do it, and we talked a little bit beforehand. Not going to have a freshman team this year, but we'll have a JV team, and a lot of these players, because of their age, will do double duty.
Yep.
So I know Maddie Cooper.
Yes.
Excuse me. I think she's an 8th grader that's coming back, so a little bit of time.
Absolutely.
And Sarah White.
Yeah, Sarah White. Maddie and Sarah are going to play big roles. They have the opportunity to definitely work themselves in the varsity lineup, but at the JV level, they're starters who lead our team. We're kind of moving Sarah into the point guard role this year a little bit. She's probably been a shooting guard, maybe a 3 a little bit. So working her at the point guard role at JV, and she's somebody who has a real opportunity to improve her career going forward.
Okay. And 2 others that I had on here, but Devin Hurt.
Yes, Devin
sophomore,
is
forward.
So Devin actually didn't play last year,
right?
And she's back this year, and it's just so great to have her back. I mean, she's another one of those girls who works hard day in and day out, and she's got some nasty post moves. And I'm just, not for scouting purposes for anybody, but man, she's added a 3-ball to her game, so it's nice to see.
And then last one that I had that you didn't mention was Tori Robertson.
Tori Robertson, yes. So I believe she played basketball in middle school. That's before I was down here. But she's a absolute soccer star, and we're looking forward to making her a basketball star. So.
Awesome. Okay. So that got everyone here. Like I said, they will play some double duty for the Briar Jumpers this year.
Yep.
Get into the schedule just a little bit, Coach. The home opener is November 29th.
Yep.
Excuse me. So the first time, I think it's going to be a boy-girl doubleheader that night.
I think the boys are playing Monday now, and we're playing Tuesday now. I think they did split it up.
So a little bit of change.
Yeah.
Okay. And then one thing that I think they changed it maybe last year, maybe the year before, but very recently, you get 4 games in and you're playing your district. You have district games.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I guess it's a little different for me, too, just because when I was in the 8th region and the 10th region, we only played our district opponents once, like during the regular season, so we didn't really play 2. But, playing them early in the season, sometimes I think it's good because it really, it gives you an opportunity to see where your team's at. But then, like, let's say you maybe don't do as well as you like, you also have time to build, right? So, you have a game for us, like just an example, last year we lost to Pulaski twice during the regular season. And then that third time we play them right, you have growth. We get to see a little bit more. What are they trying to do against us? What do we want to do to counter that, right? So sometimes it's nice to have those games just to see where you're at as a team.
Worked out pretty well for you there.
I'd say so.
And then you guys have got on the schedule now. You have 2 holiday tournaments scheduled.
Yes.
Have the Arby's KFC Classic that's on here down at McQuarrie Central. Will all the games be played there? Or will be at various sites?
I believe they're all going to be down at McQuarrie this year.
Okay.
And I think our first game's actually against Scott High, my alma mater from Northern Kentucky. So I'm kind of excited about that.
Yeah,
I'm excited to play that one. And then I know we're going to Florida, which I think all our girls are excited about, right?
Yeah, Pennsylvania or Pensacola.
Yeah.
After Christmas, you guys are going to be down there in the Innisfree Hotels Pensacola Beach tournament. Is that a national tournament? There's going to be a lot of teams?
I know there's going to be teams from all over. When I clicked on the KHSA link, it pulls up, and I know there's going to be some good teams from Kentucky down there. I know Meade County, who made the state tournament. I think they have a really, really good freshman or sophomore guard who averages like 20-plus a game. They'll be down there. I don't know if we're going to play them or not. They haven't given us their schedule, but I know there'll be some good teams from all over.
I would hope that basketball is a little different than baseball. when we go down there for spring break for baseball, we would drive all the way down to Florida and play Kentucky teams.
Yeah, it's like we could do that in our backyard.
Right, but that's the way it was. Now, something on the schedule this year that's not as big as when we talked to Coach Young here in just a few minutes with the boys team, because you guys actually got to play Southwestern and regional, but back on the regular season schedule for the first time since 2017. So 5 years that you guys will have Southwestern on the schedule, and that's always a crosstown rival, big rival. You got Southwestern, PC, and the one Somerset Christian, who is moved to Kentucky High School Athletic Association now, but doesn't have a girls team.
They just have a JV team this year, I think I was told. Yeah,
I think so. So we all get to play them. Do you know the JV?
I don't know exactly on that if we're going to work that out. It'd be nice to. Maybe I'll have to talk to Coach about that one, but I know we're excited about the Southwestern game. That environment last year at that regional game, I don't know if you got to go to that or not.
I was there. I got to call it.
Oh, actually. That game right there, it was absolutely amazing. Our student section behind, I wish we could have gave them a little better result, but we played hard through. But that environment, hopefully we can recreate that twice, get the fans out at both arenas. And, I mean, you have to have the most respect for Southwestern. I mean, they've been doing it big the last, 5-6 years, maybe longer. Excuse me if I'm wrong. But they've been doing it big, and Coach Bolden always has his team prepared. So it's going to be fun to, get that crosstown rivalry going again.
Yeah, we've just got a few more minutes here, but I want to give you an opportunity. I know that just like you sitting in here tonight for Coach McWhorter, the assistant coaches that you work with, and Coach McWhorter can't do it by herself. You guys put in a lot of valuable time, film, travel, practice time, scrimmage, this and that. You want to talk about assistant coaches that you coach with?
Caitlin and Kristen Hall are probably two of the most amazing people. I mean, they're just absolutely fantastic to work with. Their basketball IQ is through the roof. Right, they played for Coach Mack at Lincoln County, and then they played at Campbellsville for 4 years apiece. And man, they know the game. When it comes to plays, when it comes to drills and practice, they know everything they're doing. So it's just great to work with them. They're two amazing people, and we're lucky to have them. I mean, I feel blessed every day to get to work with them. And the same thing with Coach Mack. She's probably one of the most amazing coaches I've ever worked with. I can't tell you the amount of things I've learned from her. Every single day she's ready to go with a positive attitude. She's got a game plan. She knows what it's going to do. And her basketball IQ, I mean, it's through the roof. I'm having a lot of fun at Somerset, not only with these girls but with the coaching staff, and it's just a great environment to be in.
Well, we look forward to it. I know Lake Cumberland Sports will be broadcasting several of your all's games this year. We'll follow you around, and we look forward to it. Yeah. Coach, I appreciate you taking the time.
We want to thank you guys for everything you guys do. I mean, from the Twitter, the Facebook, everything you guys do, we love it. Love seeing all those things, and the spotlight you give to these girls is amazing. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you. Appreciate you coming down, and we'll see you around the corner.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Since 1988, Toyota of Somerset has been serving and supporting our local communities. We want you to know that we are here for you and your family. Someone you can trust, someone you can count on, now and for the better days to come. Trusted, loyal, dedicated, helpful, and consistent. Toyota of Somerset. Come see us or visit us online at toyotaofsomerset.com.
We, the people of this great land, are resilient and will get through this. And buying and selling is the real stimulus. Land and real estate are the premium investments, and they're not just making any more land. At Ford Brothers Auctioneers, we'll get you the most for your property with live, online, and multi-parcel auctions. Selling farms, homes, developments, and commercial properties for top dollar. Give us a call or online at FordBrothersInc.com.
Welcome back, everyone, to Lake Cumberland Sports Preseason Basketball Coaches Show here at Wings and Rings. And we getting ready to get set to talk to Coach Ryan Young here. Got some headset. What are they doing to you, Coach? There we go. Try that.
I'll blame that one on Coach Laughlin.
Yeah, there we go. We can get him. So, Coach, good to have you, man.
Thanks for having us. This is a great event. Obviously, first time last year doing it, and I think it's just great to bring everybody in the community together and kick off the start of basketball season.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. We'll talk real quickly here. You grew up playing in the 12th region, and you coached in the 12th region, first year at Somerset last year. Was there anything that really surprised you, maybe that you didn't know, or something that, maybe was different now that you're at Somerset that you didn't know before?
I wouldn't really say surprise. There's a lot of good teams, a lot of good coaches in this region. So, to give yourself a shot on a night-in, night-out basis, you got to be as prepared as you can get, and you got to have total buy-in. And I felt like we were getting that towards the end of the season. We started playing some better basketball, so not really surprised. There's very, very good teams in this region, so you got to come to work every day and be prepared and do what you do well.
Right. Last year, first year there, 10-17, 2-5 in the district, lost to Rockcastle in the first round of the district. Have a lot of players coming back this year. How's it been for you being in the second year doing this and not having to install, and you've got a lot of returning players that you can count on?
Yeah, it's been a different experience this year for sure. I feel like our guys have came in really since that district game with a chip on their shoulders and really have came to work. We felt like we probably should have won that game. We were up going into the fourth quarter and didn't convert on a lot of things from our end, and I think that's just kind of propelled us into a good offseason. But like I tell people, this is a different team. Every year it's a new process, and you have to start over. So you do have some momentum that you were able to build, but, we also lost some key contributors as well. So we continue to need some guys to step up because, overall we're a very young program still. We have 2 seniors on our roster, but vast majority of our team is underclassmen. So they're still trying to figure some things out in their work habits and what you need to do to be successful on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, you talked about losing some key players. Logan Purcell from the point guard position for you. Jack Harmon, who was your number 2 scorer and your leading rebounder. You lose both of those guys. Coming back this year, you're going to have some new faces. Walk us through your team this year and what you're going to try to replace those guys with.
Yeah, so we have a very deep team in regards, but like I said, we have a lot of youth. We're relying on our senior leadership. We returned Jack Bruner, just an anchor of a person, but a player as well. Really brings it every day. He's fresh off the football field, and we had our first scrimmage last week, and, for being right off the gridiron, I thought he performed really well. He brings a physical toughness, but also a high energy every day into the building. Just a very unique individual that I've had the opportunity to coach, and I feel like our relationship has grown really strong, and I think he trusts me and I trust him as well, and a great senior leader for us. Ethan Gadberry is our other senior. So Ethan's a great kid, great culture builder, really a selfless teammate, just anybody that you would want in the locker room. Other than that, we do return 3 guards that started for us last year. They're all juniors. We returned Ben Godby, Indrid Whitaker, and Jamison Coomer. They all bring a little bit different to the table, but they really balance each other well and what they do well, and they play well together. So really that core of those 5, it's kind of our leadership tree and the guys that we're really leaning on to fill that void and not only being a productive varsity player, but being a productive leader on a day-in, day basis. So we've really challenged those guys to kind of make our program more of a player-led program this year and not just a coach-led program.
Yeah, and it's nice when you can have those guys back. You bring 13 players back that from your team last year, and you mentioned Godby at 9.6 points a game, third leading scorer on the team. Jamison Coomer, 48.3% from three-point range. We'll talk about him a little bit. And then you talked about Injured Whitaker, who was your leading scorer at 13.9 and was really consistent, 44% from two-point range, 42% from three-point range. So you get that kind of production back from those guys, and then adding some key players, it gets you going in the right direction.
Yeah, and all those guys have been super committed into becoming a better player. You know, each of them has devoted the time in the weight room, devoted the time to skill work. We got great assistant coaches. We're blessed to have our alumni center, and these guys will get in the gym early in the morning with our assistants and really work at their craft. So really expecting a big year out of them. All of them have grown physically. They really were beat up a lot last year as sophomores. Probably physically wasn't ready to play a varsity game consistently, and that wear and tear of the season is something that a lot of people overlook, but we've really tried to instill a culture of hard work into our strength training, and I think when you look at them physically, they're better athletes, and that should help them, you know, be able to go for hopefully, you know, into March, which is the goal.
And knowing you and knowing your style, hard-nosed defense, get after it, get up and down the floor, you know, that's what you want. And, you know, the kids, if they're putting in the time in the weight room, then they're going to be Coach Young-type players.
Yeah, I mean, defense for us is non-negotiable. I mean, it's just the backbone, I believe, of any successful team, successful program. I will say that we've, in our preseason practices, have probably placed more of an emphasis on our transition game. We feel with the guard play that we do have, if we can consistently rebound the basketball and get out on the break, that we can be really hard to defend. We didn't rebound it great in our first scrimmage, so that's been a point of emphasis for us in our practices. But I think we will, you know, as we continue to go along.
You know, I think you mentioned, but I just want to make sure, Collier White, a junior for you playing, and then also Jamison Coomer, I think was the other, and Jesse Hampton, the other junior.
Yes, Collier, you know, had the injury bug on the football field, so he's going through some stuff right now. Just a really solid kid. Jesse Hampton, great kid, great culture guy. He's beefed up and trying to carve out a role. And I will say this about, you know, Jamison, he had a freak hand injury mid-November last year, so we didn't get him into the fold until after the new year. So he only played 12 games for us. So as a varsity player, you know, he's still fairly inexperienced as far as games played. So I think just that, getting him back for a full year hopefully and staying healthy is really going to be a benefit to our team.
Yeah, and then your sophomore class, your tallest, your big man, Landon Lineski, 6'6", will bring some much-needed height to the program. You know, Josh Bruner, Jack's younger brother, sophomore there, and then Isaiah Lewis and Riley Waddle.
Yeah, actually, we're thinking about Landon. He's actually ill right now, and that's a big thing with going on in just society general right now is just all the sickness. I know our school system is, you know, canceled for that the last 2 days, and we just want to try to get healthy as much as we can. It feels like we've had guys in and out, and during preseason that's always a challenge. But you know, everybody's going through that this time of year. But back to the basketball piece, Landon, another young kid that's going to continue to get better as he goes. He has great length, great kid, great communicator. Gained a lot of confidence, I feel like, from what he did on the soccer field the last 2 years. He's been a dominant goalie in our region, and he can impact the game with his length, shot blocking, rebounding, those type of things. And then you look at JB, Josh, just a hard-nosed, gritty kid. He's coming off injuries too. He had a lot of, you know, issues on the football field where he was banged up, but you know, we didn't even know if he was going to go the other night in our first scrimmage, and he's like, Coach, I'm ready to go. We got the clearance. We threw him out there. He hadn't even really practiced with us, and, you know, he's the type of kid that would just run through a brick wall, and you know what you're going to get toughness-wise. But he had a really solid summer for us running the point, so I feel comfortable with, you know, the as he knocks the rust off, he's going to be another guy that can help us as far as initiating offense, guarding the ball, and just being that tough-nosed, gritty guard that you want on the perimeter.
Yeah, the Bruners, they've got a little bit of tough streak, a little streak in them, don't they?
Yeah, I was actually talking to Beth today, and I know she's in there, and I just, credited her and John for just, the type of kids that they've raised as far as just being, they're going to come to work every day with their lunch pail, and they're going to put in the time, and you never have to question anything energy and effort-wise, which is, really appreciated as a coach.
You got a couple of freshmen on your roster this year, or on the varsity roster, and Aiden Absher, and Cole Grundy, and Jacob Bartley that may need to give you some minutes on the varsity this year.
Yeah, and a lot of the bulk of our team is our sophomore and freshman classes. Aiden, long, rangy guard, he played minutes for us as an 8th grader last year on the varsity team. Just a really cerebral, organized, thoughtful kid. He's in our playbook. He's going to know what we're trying to do execution-wise, and he can really stretch the floor as a jump shooter. As he continues to get stronger and progresses and fills out, like he's going to be more than just a jump shooter. But, he's just got to build that confidence through reps, and we don't have any concern about him taking and making open shots, and that's going to be a big, role for him. We're really big in our younger classes, with Lineski being 6'6", and Jake Bartley 6'4", 6'5", Cole Grundy 6'4", 6'5". They can really impact the game with their physicality and their length, and it's just, with younger kids, you're just going to have some growing pains as far as figuring it out and learning how to play at that speed. But I really feel like these guys are invested in what they want to do and to be a good player, and they're going to have the opportunity to have an impact at our junior varsity level, but hopefully also expanding our rotation into our varsity level. So it's been really competitive in practice, and it needs to be with a lot of our big guys because they're similar, and they're all battling for minutes. So we make that clear to them, and then, every day it needs to be a battle, and we're trying to figure that out with our rotation right now.
And that's something nice to have. I mean, in the state of Kentucky, having a front line 6'4", 6'5", 6'6", and big, there's not a whole lot of teams that have that.
Yeah.
So when you can have that kind of size, you can do some different things and do some damage.
Yeah. And I think the learning curve for, our whole team, but, specifically talking about these young bigs is that, when you're playing in middle school or at the youth level, you're the biggest kid on the floor.
Right.
And you can get away sometimes with, cutting corners as far as boxing out and sealing and doing those things that you need to do on the interior. So we're really trying to coach these guys up to be prepared for varsity play. Like, you got to put a body on a body. You got to be physical. You got to know the playbook. You got to the intricacies of the game. And I'm confident with all these guys as they continue to grow and mature that they're going to get there.
A couple others that probably going to play JV minutes for you that we haven't talked about yet. Tyson Bashir's freshman for you. Bryson Stevens and Bryson Stone are freshmen and sophomore that will get some minutes down there for you.
Yes, we have a deep freshman class. We were very successful at the 8th grade level last year, so we were actually blessed to be able to keep a lot of freshmen and have separate freshman practices this year. With our roster last year, we didn't have that flexibility where we were playing so many young guys up anyways. So it's been really good with Coach Brad Carroll, which is our freshman coach, and Coach Powell, Lincoln Powell, who's helping him as well, to be able to have their separate practices and really try to grow this program and develop those kids at the younger level.
Yeah, I was going to talk, after we got the kids, make sure we got all those in. I wanted to, give you the opportunity because you put in a huge amount of time, I know. Films, practice sessions, games, travel itineraries, everything going. You couldn't do that without your assistant coaches being able to take part of the aspect of what you guys do.
Oh, absolutely. And, last March, me and my wife, we were blessed to welcome our first son into the world as soon as the season ended. So just coming in as a new parent, you really, that's probably one of the things I've had to work on as a young coach is the willingness to delegate responsibilities.
Sure.
When you're the head coach, obviously everything falls on your shoulders. So being kind of a perfectionist, I would maybe self-proclaim a little bit. It's hard to kind of let go of that rope sometimes, but I'm really confident with our staff. They're really invested into our kids, and they're really great for our kids. And I think our kids really look up to them and see them as an extension of me and really respect them. So, like I said, Coach Brad Carroll, Coach Lincoln Powell, and then Coach Darren Kettner. Darren's was a great addition last year to the staff. He played collegiately around the same time as I did, so we kind of have the same mindset, philosophies on how we view the game, and he's really came into his own as a coach. He's going to be our junior varsity coach this year, and I expect big things out of him at that level, and he's just a calm, cooling demeanor, and these kids really, gravitate towards him.
Just got a few more minutes here, but just wanted to touch on the schedule just real quick. Home opener, I think maybe has changed. I think we had it November 28th. There's going to be a boy-girl doubleheader, but maybe that's moved.
The 28th, we will open up at home against Russell County.
So
the girls will be playing the next night, so it'll be a JV varsity for us and them.
Okay, and so a good chance to come out and see Coach Young's team on the 28th against Russell County, and then you get right into district play. I know we talked a little bit about that last year. I mean, your fourth game, and you got Rockcastle.
Yeah, it's interesting down here. You talk about surprises that may have been won, how quick that district play comes in, but everybody's in the same boat, so it'll be good, exciting games. We have exciting games across the board this year.
Yeah.
I feel like, with any team in the South end of the region this year, I feel like we're playing them twice. So it's almost like an extended district play for us. We play, obviously, Southwestern twice. I have a lot of respect for Coach Dunbar and what he does and his program. We play Wayne County twice, which will be much improved this year. One of the favorites going into the regional. We played Macquarie Central twice, Somerset Christian twice. But I think I heard Coach Dunbar say this earlier when he was talking as well. Do we want to go on a bus and travel somewhere for an hour, or do we want to go across the street? And at the end of the day, it's about the experience of these student athletes, and they're going to remember those games versus PC and Southwestern and Somerset Christian and Wayne County. Those are going to be the moments and the games that are going to help you get prepared for hopefully making a run at a district championship and a regional championship.
I've been screaming it for the last few years, so I'm glad to see that it's back on. It'll be the first time that you guys have played since 2017, Somerset and Southwestern in the regular season, so that will be an exciting time.
And I would say that, I don't want to get off without saying that's a big credit to our athletic director, Kevin Burkett, and then the AD at Southwestern as well. And then me and Coach Dunbar, we're around the same age. We've always shared film, scouting reports, helped each other any way we can. So I think we have a mutual respect as what we do. So we feel it's good for both our programs.
Well, we look forward to it. It should be a fun year. Before I get off here, is anybody else that I left out, we left out, that you want to say anything about?
I mean, I would be remiss to just, speak to the how difficult of a week it's been for Somerset community and Somerset athletics in general. Me and Coach Lucas, we grew up in the same area, we're around the same block, and had a lot of respect for him. When we were going through some struggles last year in year one, he would be the first one to kind of give me advice and help me weather the storm, and really appreciative of that. And, it's been a difficult week on our student athletes, and I've been so proud of specifically our basketball guys that play football about how well they've responded and being able to come in and still, provide a great effort. And that just speaks to the testament of the character of our team. And hopefully we're representing our community and our school, in a way that Coach Lucas would be proud, and I think he would be.
Yeah, I talked a bit briefly about it before. Talked with Coach Laughlin, and it's a big loss for the Somerset faithful. Again, a friend of mine, Coach Lucas, and we also Dave Albright, Big Dave, that hauled us around all over the country doing things. But it is been a tough week. So appreciate you being here. We look forward to get to cover you this year, travel around and see some games. This is Coach Young, and again, look forward to seeing you this year.
Thank you guys for having me. We're looking forward to get rolling.
Thank you for your time.
Since 1988, Toyota of Somerset has been serving and supporting our local communities. We want you to know that we are here for you and your family. Someone you can trust, someone you can count on, now and for the better days to come. Trusted, loyal, dedicated, helpful, and consistent. Toyota of Somerset. Come see us or visit us online at toyotaofsomerset.com.
We, the people of this great land, are resilient and will get through this. And buying and selling is the real stimulus. Land and real estate are the premium investments, and they're not just making any more land. At Ford Brothers Auctioneers, we'll get you the most for your property with live, online, and multi-parcel auctions. Selling farms, homes, developments, and commercial properties for top dollar. Give us a call or online at FordBrothersInc.com.
Sound check, or are we going to go say something to him, Al?
Testing one.
Very good. And welcome back to Buffalo Wings and Rings. We may have been on. If it was, you just heard what we call a sound test. Coach Gover, you're making a face like that's bothering you. Is everything okay?
I'm good.
Okay, good deal. Coach Al Gover of the Somerset Christian Cougars has joined me. I don't think he will be a newcomer to anybody in our audience, but if he is, Coach, it's great to have you.
I'll tell you, Mike, it's great to be back. It's been a few years, but, I'm back doing what I love to do and back talking to you guys, and all's good.
You go back, and some of us are old enough to remember I watched you from the time you were 8, 9 years old playing basketball and thought, that cat can play. And then I've seen you coach multiple places at multiple levels, and when they told me you were going to come back and be the AD at Somerset Christian and the basketball coach down there, my answer was yes. And please, God, give him a chance to build a program out there that because I know the knowledge is there, the effort is there, and now you've got a horse to ride.
Well, like I said, it's great to be back. Somerset Christian has given me the opportunity to come back and coach, and I think the head of schools, Dr. Ron Gleaves, and the principal, Melissa Phelps. So, but we've got a lot of work to do at Somerset Christian. We've, one of the big things that we're looking at and we're really focused on is our foundation and our youth. So we've started up some youth programs, 2nd and 3rd grade, 4th and 5th grade, 6th and 7th grade that was kind of non-existent. So that's going to be, I think, in the coming years, a big, big help for us to grow this program where we want it to go.
Well, we all know that the numbers are key, and you have coached at some places that literally you could walk the halls and there were hundreds upon hundreds of boys walking in the hallways. And your talent pool was from that. Now you're in a situation to where numbers are key. You need to, the school will grow, and as the school grows, the numbers will grow, and it's key that, people realize the fact that your pool was not 150 at a tryout the other day. It's a little different story than that.
It is. One of the things that we, obviously is don't want to say a hindrance, but just an obstacle is our numbers at the school. Like you said, at previous schools, you've got 400 boys walking the hall,
right.
and here it's a little different story. But the guys we do have there, and the guys we have in the program are quality kids, first-class kids, and right now they're working extremely hard to get better. And that's all we can ask. We'll grow the program as the program goes, and it's our job to make sure that program goes, the way we want it to go.
I'm going to editorialize just a little bit. You'll coach those kids the same way you coached kids wherever you were coaching. I have no doubt in my mind, and they will learn basketball.
Well, we try to really teach and work them hard. When it's time to practice, it's time to practice. It's not, we throw everything else aside and we focus for 2 hours, and our kids are doing really well with that. They're like I said, their efforts been really good. I'm fortunate to have a couple of nice assistant coaches, really good assistant coaches. T.W. Sears is back with us, and he does an excellent job. I could just turn practice over to him, and I wouldn't worry one bit.
Right.
He's got the ability to coach the game really well. Evan Smith is helping us this year. Evan, of course, was at Southwestern a couple years and then at Lincoln County last year, and he's got really good basketball knowledge as well. So I'm really fortunate when maybe we're down to 10 in practice or 9. Those guys always wear their sneakers, and they're ready to jump in and help, and they do. And I think they're both getting in really good shape.
You're showing them all how to shoot it, aren't you?
Well, stand still.
Stand still. Yeah. Still about 90+ at the line?
Around there.
Okay.
88 to 89 somewhere.
Just that's for them when they watch this, that some of us do remember you didn't make that stuff up. That stuff is true. Okay, we've talked about your coaches a little bit. Let's do a little bit of a background on Somerset Christian, because you have now become part of the KHSAA program. This year you will not only compete in the district, you will host the district this year, you were telling me.
That's right.
So you're in the 48th. That puts you in there with Southwestern, Wayne County, and McCreary Central. So that is a little bit of background of where the Cougars will play this year. And again, congratulations on hosting the district. We'll be chasing you guys this year. You have got a schedule that I think there's 30+ games on here.
Yes, we're possibility of playing 31, 32 games, counting the Christmas tournaments.
Right.
And those Class A and all of that, depending on, how far we advance and things. But, yeah, we got a full schedule, and we got some nice teams on it. As you mentioned, our district is Southwestern, Wayne, and Macquarie, so we got our hands full there in itself. 3 really good teams this year, I think. They all bring back some experienced players. So that'll be tough in itself, is trying to compete in the is it 48?
48, yeah, I'm like you. The couple years that they swapped Somerset into the new 48th at one time, then they put them back, and they messed me up for life right there. But, yes, it is the 48th, Coach. Let's talk about your players. I know the numbers you told me before we went on the air, 10 or 11 right now out for the varsity level. And
yes.
You would love if 2 or 3 more that were wandering around out there and want to play basketball come see you?
Absolutely. Our door's open.
Are we allowed to say that? I don't know if
no,
I'm
we're
allowed.
not.
We're not allowed to say
We're
that.
not.
I didn't say that.
We do have some kids in the hallway that,
that you would love to have.
I think they probably don't like to see me coming anymore because I always, they don't get by without me asking again. But, we, like I said, our numbers, they are what they are, but sometimes it's quality and not quantity. So I feel like we got some good quality kids, and we got some experience mixed in with some youth. Our roster is, we got 3 seniors, 3 juniors, 3 sophomores, 2 freshmen. So kind of evened out there pretty good. But we got some good returning players back. Noah Brummett.
I remember.
He comes back to us. He's a senior this year, all city player last year. Really good. I'm not sure exactly what he averaged last year. It was probably around 16 points a game. Can score the ball. He's a guard forward that, you kind of give him the ball and say, go score. And that's nice to have. He's going to play a lot of roles this year. So, he just better get ready. I hope he's listening. Ethan Meggs is a senior as well. He's about a 6'3" kid who got a big body, who can shoot the 3 pretty well. He can get under the basket and rebound the ball, and do some good things for us. And he's got some experience as well. He played quite a bit last year, so we're looking forward to big things from him. Elijah Ford is a senior. Elijah comes to us after not playing basketball for a few years. I'm not sure how many years it was, but it's at least 3 or 4. And he brings a lot of energy. He defensively, he plays super hard. The skill set is coming back. You know, after you lay off of basketball for a while, it just it takes a bit to get it back.
You and I kind of talked about this. Don't let me lose your place, but there's a skill set required to play this game that develops over a lifetime. And when you take that 2-3 years out of that, it takes a while to catch back up.
It does. It really does. It's skill, pretty much skill-dominated game.
Yes.
You know? You can be really athletic, run and jump, and then you have to dribble and things like
And
that.
you have to put it in the basket.
Yes. So it takes a while. But Elijah, he's really working hard, and we're looking for big things out of him as well. Our junior class, Ethan Warren, is back with us. Ethan played a whole lot last year at the varsity level. Ethan's about a 6'2" guard who is very athletic, runs, jumps real well, can score the ball. And we're looking for big things out of him. We're looking for him to step his game up and really do some big things for us there. We're going to rely on him a lot as well. Ethan Brainerd has come to us after several years of not playing. Probably going back to 4th or 5th grade. Ethan is about a 6'2" junior, and he's a big kid. In fact, he just come in there and sat down beside me and ate my French fries.
And you didn't care?
So I didn't say anything. I didn't say anything. But he's, you know, again, the skill level, you know, he's working, he's learning, you know, just the rebounding, the setting screens, those type of things that he can do well because he's a big kid to get around. So he's going to be able to do those things well, I think. Looking for, you know, and he's a good kid, a good team player, and fits real well with us. A.J. Holland has come to us this year, again, after laying off 2 or 3 years, maybe even 4, I'm not sure. But A.J. is he's athletic, he's strong, he runs well, a good athlete. And A.J.'s skill level is pretty good. But, again, it's going to take a while to really get there. So, you know, we're looking for big things out of him to help us in our rotation. And he's doing a super job. He's the type of kid that sometimes you have to really, really beg him to play harder, be aggressive. You don't have to beg him to do that. Sometimes you say,
whoa,
easy, whoa. But he's just he brings a lot of energy, and he's going to help us a lot this year.
Coaches like players like that.
Oh yes. He's when he comes in, something usually happens. You know.
Most of the time, good, but
most of the time good. Sometimes you know you got to pull him back a little bit, but we're really happy to have AJ with us. Our sophomores, Eli Brummett. He's a younger brother of Noah Brummett. Eli's a sophomore, about a 5'9" guard that skill level is really, really good. Handles the ball really well. His only setback, as a lot of them are, is his experience. He didn't play a whole lot of varsity last year. This year he's going to have to play a whole lot at the point guard position. So we know how that is.
That's a learning curve that's hard to learn on the job, but
it is. It's tough, and you know, Eli, I think, has got the mentality for it. I think he's got the skill for it, and you know, we mature as we go and learn as we go.
Sure.
So, but we're looking for big things out of Eli. He's very capable, and again, I think he'll have a nice season for us. Caleb Taylor is another sophomore. that we're going to call on a lot this year. He's about the size of Eli Brummett, about 5'9", but he's kind of a different type player. He's more of a shooter, scorer type kid. He can really shoot the three well. He can handle the ball. He can play point for us if we need that. So he's kind of a versatile kid who we're looking for really big things out of. I think he'll have a nice year for us as well. Nika Stanoli is about a 6'1" sophomore that is kind of learning. He hasn't played any varsity sports, varsity ball at all, but he shoots the ball pretty well. He just got to learn the game a little bit, and that comes with playing and practicing and those type of things. But we're looking for, he's got the longest reach on the team. He's a good sized kid. We're looking for good things out of him, especially this year as his skills develop. We're looking defensively. I think he can be a really good defensive player and guard people once he locks in and focuses and learns kind of what it's all about.
Sure.
Two freshmen that, again, we're going to call on a lot. One is Jack Baker. He's about a 6 foot. He's grown, 3 or 4 inches since summer. So he's going to be a nice player for us. I do believe that. He's a shooter. He can shoot the ball, so that's always good to have. If you give him any space, he's
your eyes dance when you say that. Go ahead.
I love shooters, and he can shoot the basketball. He's a freshman, so it's learn on the run, and but he's a student of the game. He loves the game, and he does things well. He really wants to be good. He really wants to play, and I think by the time he's a senior, you're going to hear a lot from Jack Baker. Isaiah Hensley is another freshman. Isaiah he's a athlete. It's hard. Sometimes I don't have the word to describe Isaiah. He's crafty. I guess that's a good word. And he's got the ability to create things for himself, even though sometimes you think nothing's there. He's kind of like the pivot foot, keeps moving it until he finds a way to sneak through. So he's going to help us a lot as well. He's got a good future ahead of him, and we're looking for big things out of Isaiah. Yep.
So that's a trip down the roster. Let's take a trip to Coach Gover for a minute. I know the competitive nature of you from the time I've known you from very young age. This is going to have to be a coaching experience to where you have got to have some patience with the growth and the maturity and the lack of exposure and the playing time and all that other stuff. So there'll have to be somebody on your staff who's going to have to keep reminding Coach Gover about where we are and where we're headed, right?
Well, yeah, they're definitely going to have to be ready for that. But, my assistants, TW, I would say he'd be the one to do that, but he probably don't have as much patience.
I agree.
So he's kind of competitive too, and Evan's competitive too. We're all competitive, and we're there to obviously make the team better. We're there to grow day by day. I tell them as long as we get better every day, then we're in the right direction.
Right.
So we'll take it day by day. We practiced hard today and got better, I think, and tomorrow we'll do the same. But I am going to have a little patience for sure. It's a long season.
The things that I would just think, the thing that will cross in my mind is things that you take naturally. They're just there. Some of these young men have been away from the game enough that it's not natural right now. It's learning. And again, I see the competitive fire. I look forward to seeing you guys play this year. We will be out to watch you some. And if there's anything we can do at Lake Cumberland Sports to help your program, wish you the best, and I wish these young men the best.
Mike, I appreciate it. It's good to be here again, and like I said, I always enjoys talking to you guys, and just glad to be back.
They're getting ready to tell me we've got to wrap this up, but I've got to leave one. So when your guys watch this one, you and Larry Hurt were coaching at Crosstown Rivals one time way back in the day, and it used to be a big deal, you know, everybody talked. And I was getting ready to interview you two, and I said, well, one of you, we need to go. And you looked at me, and I think it was your suggestion. You said, why don't you just do both of us at once? And we actually interviewed what were considered Crosstown Rivals at the same time. And to me, that sent a message that you can't buy that. That's good stuff, and I remember that. And I look forward to you leading this bunch into battle.
Well, I sure appreciate you. Thanks, Mike.
He's Al Gover, the head man at Somerset Christian. They are fully indoctrinated, immersed into the 12th region and the 48th district, and we'll be watching them through the season. And again, we're going to step out after this break. We'll have who's left? We'll be back after a 1-minute break. John Fraley.
Since 1988, Toyota of Somerset has been serving and supporting our local communities. We want you to know that we are here for you and your family. Someone you can trust, someone you can count on, now and for the better days to come. Trusted, loyal, dedicated, helpful, and consistent. Toyota of Somerset. Come see us or visit us online at toyotaofsomerset.com.
We, the people of this great land, are resilient and will get through this. And buying and selling is the real stimulus. Land and real estate are the premium investments, and they're not just making any more land. At Ford Brothers Auctioneers, we'll get you the most for your property with live, online, and multi-parcel auctions. Selling farms, homes, developments, and commercial properties for top dollar. Give us a call or online at FordBrothersInc.com.
We back? Okay, welcome to the Coaches Show here on Look Kevin Sports. I got Coach John Fraley of the Pulaski County Maroons. Coach, good evening.
Good evening.
Welcome to our Coaches Show. We're getting ready to kick off the 22-23 basketball season. And, Coach, we're going to talk a lot tonight, but first of all, last season, 30 wins. There's not a lot of coaches that can say they've had a 30-win season. How magical of a ride was that?
It was pretty great. Really enjoyed it, and been around it long enough to know that it doesn't come around that often. And it was a great run. It didn't end as we wanted it to, you know, a bounce here, a bounce there, but for the most part, it was great.
So, Coach, your first season was 16-17, and all you do is go to Sweet 16 that year, 27-8. You follow it up 22-10. 20-12, 25-7, 14-7. The only thing that kept you from a 20-win year that year was COVID. And it kicked a lot of our tails. Yeah. And then last season, 30 wins. 138 wins. You're winning 75% of your games. I know, last name Fraley, you come into that Pulaski County, had a lot of pressure on you. Man, have you done a great job.
I appreciate it. It all goes back to the players and my assistants, really. They make my job look a lot easier. You know, when you've got kids coming every year, my brother does a great job, him and Coach Blankenship, and now Colton is there. He's over there helping. They send us some kids ready to play. So
that helps.
That helps.
And last season, I also want, while we're still talking about last season for a second, you had a really big ball game that we got to be a part of at Lake Cumberland Sports. You played that game at North Laurel. That felt like a championship basketball game.
It did.
And I know that game didn't play out for you, but you went into that game undefeated. Any comments about that game? Like, that was an electric atmosphere that I've not seen anything like that in a long time.
The only time I've come close to experiencing that type of atmosphere was the regional finals and maybe at the state tournament, you know. There was just so much hype and so much build up to that game because we were undefeated and they were ranked, you know, second or third in the state, whatever it was at the time, and they've got Reed. And so, there were people calling me for weeks trying to, can I get a ticket? I was like, I don't think it's a big deal to get one, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it was a really great atmosphere, something that the kids who got to play in that game, that's one they'll remember for life.
Yeah, and I'm just there. And I remember it for life. It was pretty cool. Coach, last year you're losing a ton of production from last season's team. Gone are Caleb Sloan, Gavin Stevens and Zach Travis combined, that's about 40 points a game and almost 20 rebounds a game. How do you replace that?
I don't know that you replace it. You just, you know, we're going to be a different team this year. So you replace it with 2 or 3 different people. You know, you're not necessarily going to do it with 3 guys. You know, it may take 4 or 5, you know, to get to that point production. But that's the difference in us this year is we're going to be a little deeper. And some guys that didn't necessarily have to do as much last year who are capable of doing more will get to do more this year.
So, Coach, before we start talking about those players, I want to really dig into that. Team goals this season. I'm sure somewhere you got a board up. What do you want to put a check mark by this season?
You know, we always want to come out and try to hold home serve, you know, try to win all our games at home. That's always a goal we have. And, you know, win their district, gives ourselves a chance at, you know, getting a loser in the first round of the region, you know, if you win your district, and then gives us a chance to get to the finals. And you know, once you get to the finals, you never know which way it's going to go and give yourself a chance. Our goal every year is to win the region, you know, and compete and win. And so that's where we're at again.
And you've done a great job, as we mentioned, kind of at leading in. This year's coach, this year's seniors, you got 6 seniors, which that's an asset. I think a lot of teams can't say that.
Yeah.
Caden Lancaster, 14 points a game, 5 rebounds a game. Leader coming back for you. What do you expect out of him this season?
Expect a big year for Caden. You know, he had a big AAU year, and he's got some attention from some colleges. And I think once we get to the hard and meat of the schedule, he's going to find out kind of what Gavin and Zach went through last year, where people are keying on you a little bit more.
Yeah.
You know, but I think he's ready for that. You know, he's going to have to be a leader out there for us, and really going to have to rebound. His sophomore year, you know, he had games 15. I think at Somerset he had 18 or 20 boards in one game. You know, and he's going to have. Of course, last year there wasn't that many out there, I don't feel like. So this year he's going to have to go back to that and really hit the glass hard and lead us in that area too.
Coach, the next player I'm going to ask you about, Barrick Williams, was a player that missed a lot of games last season. I know has been injury bug bitten. Is he going to play? Is you ready to go?
Yeah, it's nice to have Barrick back in the gym and not be dragging a limb. You know, it's either been a shoulder or a hip or an ankle or something for it feels like forever, bless his heart. He's had a really bad run of injuries, and it's he kind of got back. He got to come first day of practice, October 15th. You know, he was there, and
I can see you grinning about that.
Yeah, it was nice. It was really nice, and you can see him rounding back into form of what he was when he was a freshman and a sophomore. You know, and really had 2 really good years there, and then like last year. He was just hurt for so long, bless his heart, he never could get well. And now he's a guy that can knock down shots. He's physical guard. He can go rebound, and he can defend. So we were missing that last year. On a really good team, we could have maybe took that next step.
Absolutely. When you were sitting there undefeated and Barrick hadn't been on the court.
Hadn't even been on the floor.
It's like, wow, how good is this? Can this team
right.
be? Yeah. Another player, Bryson Duggar. I know you're going to expect more out of him, and the football team expected more, and, man, did they get more. And so I know we're poised for a breakout season for Duggar.
Absolutely, yeah. You know, Bryson's that kid that is he truly embraces the high school experience. He just plays as hard as he can for as long as he can and does anything that you want him to do. You know, he'll guard the best one if you want him to. He'll rebound. He'll dive on the loose floor. And he loves to get out there and pressure people. So it's really nice having him, be that guy that just does anything you need him to do.
Absolutely. Jace Fry, another senior you've got coming back, he played some meaningful minutes for you last season.
He did. You know, Jace towards the end of the year didn't get as many minutes, and that was probably on me. But, you know, Jace is a really nice player. The only problem is he's had a knee injury this fall. And so he's out for at least a couple months here. We're looking at maybe January or February on that. So that's going to be a hole that we got to fill, because this year I really thought he would be our leading rebounder, our post presence, and just rim protector, because he leaps so well. And, we're going to miss him at the beginning of the year.
Another senior, Cameron Hargis. He played some meaningful minutes for you last season as well.
Yeah, we come in. We start the game at Madison Central last year, and he comes in and makes 2 big free throws to send it. I don't know if it won it or send it to overtime last year. I can't remember. As a junior who he just stepped in and does it, and that's what Cam is. He's just so level-headed, and he's another one of those guys that really loves to get out there and hound the ball and play hard. He plays as hard as he can, and, you know, it's nice when me and Dad always talked about, we're not going to coach your effort or your attitude. We'll coach you X's and O's, but bring your effort and your attitude, and I've got a lot of guys this year like that.
That's going to help.
Yeah.
Benjamin Dalton, round out your senior class. What are you expecting from that young man?
You know, Ben was a kid that came to us as a freshman and just really has worked hard for 4 years to make his body. He changed his body. He's worked on his footwork, and he's a kid that's going to get some minutes this year and be a pro's presence. You know, I mean, he's 6'6". Like I've heard the other coaches say, you can't teach 6'6".
No, you can't.
So, you know, he's going to come in there, be a rim protector for us, hopefully, and, you know, put the ball in the basket when we give it to him.
Junior class, you have 4 juniors. Will Blankenship, first one I'll ask you about.
Will is a kid that I feel like this year is going to have a big year. You know, he's played behind some people, and now that he's a junior, he's finally getting his opportunity. He's a gym rat. He's a coach's son. You know, Chris, his dad helps us, and he's one of my assistants. And so Will's grown up, had been in the system, and he's kind of like a Fraley, honestly. He just knows what we're thinking and goes out there and does it most of the time, you know.
You'll take that.
Yeah.
Weston Phelan, another junior on your roster.
Not coming out. Concentrating on baseball.
Okay, well, he was on the roster. My fault.
Right.
Jacob Todd.
No.
No?
No.
All right. Jalen Wooldridge.
Yes.
Okay.
Jalen is another junior for us that's kind of he's also been behind some people, and now that he's a junior and he's kind of growing into his body a little bit, he can go up and dunk a basketball finally. You know, we've been waiting on that for a few years because we knew it was there. It was just, would he do it? So he's a knockdown shooter for us. He's got to get a little more in the weight room, be a little more aggressive, but for the most part, we're looking forward to him too.
Another one of those football players
Yes.
that come out for the Maroons. Ethan Idlewine, I got him on the roster as a sophomore. He's suiting up.
Yes, Ethan and Gavin Cook are 2 sophomores we have that we look to play some varsity minutes for us this year. You know, Ethan is just an athlete. You saw that on the football field this year.
Yes, we did.
Big, strong kid, quick, and can guard multiple positions, which is nice on a team where we're going to struggle with size, you know. So that's nice. And then Gavin is another one. Every time that I walked in the gym this summer, he was already in there. And, you know, he's getting up 500,000 shots on the gun every day. And you can really tell it in practice because when he's not on the Maroon team, our guys are yelling, get to Gavin. So it's good.
And you got a freshman going to be, I'm assuming, your point guard, Carson Fraley. Seems like that guy's been your point guard since 5th grade.
Yeah, it seems like he's been around for a while because he's played for so long, but he's finally it's funny that he's finally walking the halls with us. But he, last year, you know, he got the advantage of playing with some really good people and let him kind of grow up a little bit, and all he had to do was kind of get the ball where it needed to be. And we're going to look to him this year to continue to do that, but also step up in the scoring column as well. And he's going to have to defend and rebound because he's one of the bigger guys we got, you know, so he's going to have to really rebound for us.
That's what's impressed me about him, like, despite his youth. Big, strong young man. So,
yes.
And that's just only going to get better.
Yeah. We're looking for him to have a big year. We really think he can. He had a good summer and was in the, on the AAU deal and was out there on that and got some notoriety. And so we're looking for him to have a big year.
Coach, you mentioned when I asked you about your chalkboard and what the goals you had, the 47th district, one of those that's on there, and you have, for lack of better terms, kind of owned that in the last several years. I know you hope that continues, but that district comprised of Casey, Rock, and Somerset. Thoughts about the competition there in the 47th?
I tell you, it's going to be pretty good. Somerset's is going to be really good. Like Coach Young said, he played some young guys and went through some lumps, and they're growing up, and they're going to be right there in the mix, you know, and he's got 3 good junior guards and some people to go around them. So they'll be a tough out as usual. You know, Somerset always is. And then Casey's got Willoughby, who may be one of the best players in the region, if not the best player in the region. It seems like he gives us fits every time we play him. And then Rock's kind of everybody thinks they're going to be rebuilding, but I saw them this summer, and they've got some young kids that are going to come along. I feel like by the end of the year they're going to be a hard out.
And Rock has surprised some folks in this region, in this district in the past.
Yes,
kind of
they have.
spoiled some seasons for
Yes,
some
they
folks.
have.
So for some really good, talented teams. Yeah, absolutely. Something I'm hearing kind of in the circles about how strong the Northern Middle School, I mean, I know their football team just won 3 state first time it's ever been done.
Right.
But the basketball team pretty solid too. Feeder program, solid.
Yeah, that's where it goes back to. You know, we've been working for a lot of years on this on the north end. We've really taken pride and been working a lot of years with our youth and our PCYBL, and then from that we take and make an AAU team, and so by the time they get to 6th grade, they've been in the system that we know for a couple years, you know, and so that's been leading to some quality things. Last year, the 6th grade was runner-up in the state tournament. The 7th grade won the state tournament. So this year, you know, the 7th and 8th grade's pretty solid.
I'm hearing that, beating people up.
Yeah.
They got their heads down after they got out of that north end of town. Coach, any surprise players on the roster? I know we've already went through a lot of those names, but who are we going to really get to know this season? Who's going to bust onto the scene?
You know, I've got, like I said, Gavin Cook. I feel like he's going to have a big year for us, and you know, Cam and Ben, who have not played as many minutes, those two seniors, as some of the other seniors, I really look for them to have a big year. I got to brag on my own son, Foster Fraley. He's a kid that has just laid in there and kept working, you know, and I feel like maybe not this year on the varsity level, but he's going to be next year one of those kids that has to play. So we're going to look for him to get some minutes this year and get some run and step up. But, you know, we've got a freshman, and you know him from football because he caught several touchdown passes.
I know where you're going.
Zach Anderson.
Yes, sir.
Is a 6'3" or 6'4" kid that moves extremely well, shoots it extremely well, you know, and just believes he can play, and that's half the battle if you think you can, you know. So
the confidence, yeah.
Confidence is huge. I told him, you know, with graduating 6'6", 6'5", and 6'3", you know, a 6'4" kid is going to look pretty good, Zach. So you need to stick your nose in there all you can, and he's been doing that in practice, and so you never know where that could develop. So
yeah, that's awesome. You mentioned a couple of your assistant coaches. Let's talk about those folks. You don't do what you do by yourself.
No, not at all. Could not have done what we've been doing the last few years without my guys. And I feel like I've put together a really good staff, and we've been able to keep it together. And we just kind of move around, and we go to the middle school if we need to, or we go wherever. But I've got Chris Blankenship, and he's been with me for a while, and he's going to be my lead assistant this year. And Blake Burton, who's a kid that played for me, and then once he got out of college, we scooped him up and got him in, and he's the guy that he's that young guy that you know, still does everything else for you, and he's going to coach the JV and freshman for me this year. And then Jeff Cawthorn come over last year and helped us, and it was nice to have a fresh set of eyes, you know, that guy that's not been around the program and doesn't have any, you know, predestined thoughts there. And this year we were able to add Benny Blanton. I don't know if you remember Coach Blanton. He was at Rockcastle for several years before Coach Cash got there, and did a great job there. And he moved over this year to teach at our high school, and ask if I needed any help. And you can always take as much help as you can get. So we brought Coach Blanton along with us, and of course, you know, got Shannon at the middle school, and he comes and helps when he can. And then we've got Coach Fitzgerald. Chris Fitzgerald is going to go down to the middle school and help a little bit this year. And, you know, Kevin Measle, Kobe Hargis, and Colton Fraley, those guys are all at the middle school helping. And we just believe, you know, as get them as ready as you can get them before they get there, you know.
Yeah.
The first time we did this, you know, when my dad first come back and I was coaching the freshmen, we had kids who didn't know anything when they got there. You know, nothing just hadn't been worked. We didn't have a youth league, and you know, the youth leagues in football, you can tell, Pulaski and Southwestern every year, and, you know, pretty solid. And now the basketball is becoming that as well. And so, you know, just got to keep feeding that feeder program and keep working at it. Yeah,
you've got a solid group. You mentioned several, and I've had a friend of mine whose son plays out at Whitley and went out there and watched Northern Middle play last year, and Shannon Fraley coaching that team, saw Zach Anderson on the floor. Just talent everywhere, and just really well coached, and it certainly translates up at the varsity level. So you've got a good thing going.
Yeah.
Keep it up.
I appreciate it.
Your home opener right around the corner on Monday. You welcome Madison Central. That's how the whole thing got started last season.
It is.
And so you play the big boys early.
Yeah. We Coach Feldhouse calls, and for whatever reason I can't say no. So, but that's the way we like it. We know we got to play a hard schedule and get ready for the more of those games we play, the more ready we are when it comes district and region. They're going to be a top 10 team coming right into our gym. So.
And now I'm looking here, and I don't see it, but my eyes are not as young as they used to be. North Laurel coming back to your place this season?
That was the end of the 2-year last year.
Okay.
So we played this summer, but we won't be playing this year.
Gotcha. So your other local games, you got Somerset on the 16th over there, Southwestern on the 13th of January over there. Then you host Somerset on the 27th of January, and then you host Southwestern February 10th. Coach, thank you for allowing us to pick your brain a little bit and get set for this season and what is almost guaranteed to be another 20-win season, it looks like, right?
I don't know about that, but we're going to go try.
We're certainly taking it for granted, I know, but you've done a great job. Continue it, Coach Fraley.
Appreciate it.
Good luck this season as you kind of not rebuilding, but retooling. You're replacing a lot of scoring. You're going to retool. Got a lot of athletes in the cupboard. And hopefully Barrick Williams stays healthy for you.
Yes.
Well, that young man deserves a season. He deserves a full season.
He does.
Yeah, so good luck to you, Coach.
Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much. And you've been listening to Coach John Fraley here on the Buffalo Wings and Rings Coaches Show here on Lake Cumberland Sports.
Thank you all.
Thank you.